Today I'm going to discuss the most common question that I get asked on a regular basis, and that is, what should I do after I get into a vehicle accident? And a vehicle accident can be a vehicle versus vehicle, it can be a truck, motorcycle, you could be riding a bicycle, or you can be a pedestrian that gets hit by a vehicle. And so what I want to discuss today is what are the steps you should take after you get into an accident. First and foremost, after you get into an accident, you want to make sure that you're okay. If you are in a minor accident, you're probably going to be able to get up, walk around, and be able to move around. So you should be fine, but check yourself. But if you are severely injured, meaning you have broken bones, or you are bleeding out, or let's say you lost a body part, or you're paralyzed, this is a much more severe situation, and you're going to want to sit there and wait for help to come to you. If you can, when you're in the position that you're in, call the police and make sure a paramedic is coming. But if you can't, yell for help and wait for someone to come assist you, because a lot of times you can injure yourself worse, or if your car is boxing you in, you need to wait for help for them to get you out of the vehicle. So every situation will be different, but the first thing you need to do is check with yourself, make sure that you're okay, and if you're okay, get yourself to a safe place. So that means getting away from your vehicle, or if your vehicle is able to drive, maybe don't leave it in the middle of the roadway and pull it to the side. But if you can, always get a picture of the vehicles at the point of impact. This picture will be extremely important to prove liability down the road. So once again, first thing is check yourself, make sure you're all right. If you're all right, move your car. If you're not all right, wait for help to get there. Then this gets to the second part. The second part is, if you are not severely injured, then I recommend that you should call your attorney to discuss what the next steps are. A lot of times when you're in an accident, you want to make sure that you are getting pictures of the damage to the vehicle, both vehicles, not just your own. You want to take pictures of street signs, you want to take videos of light sequences, and if there is witnesses, you want to get witness information. But what happens a lot of time is when you're in an accident, your life gets flipped upside down. You are now stressed about meeting up with a friend, or you have to get to work, or there's a myriad of different problems, and you forget a lot of the things that you need to do. So calling an attorney who can remind you of the things you need to do could be very valuable. And like I said before, one of the most important things that you're going to do after an accident is if there's a witness, meaning somebody walking their dog, a car that was behind you, a car that's in front of you, or somebody that was just nearby in a grocery shopping center, or just somebody that happened to be at a park. You want to try to get whatever witness information you can. And the reason that you want to do this is because a witness's statement is more valuable than your statement and the person that crashed into you. And that is because you have what's called a bone in the fight, meaning you are entitled to money if the other person is at fault, and the other person is going to have to pay for those damages. And they don't want to have to pay for those damages, so they don't want to be found at fault either. But a witness is what's called unbiased, and they're unbiased because they don't have a bone in the fight, and they're not going to make any money whether you are found at fault or the other person is found at fault. So a witness statement is very valuable. Now, with that being said, it is extremely important that you call the police, okay? This is one of those times that the police are going to be on your side. A lot of people are scared of the police. They don't want to get arrested, or the police get a bad rap. But look, the police are really there to protect you and to help. And if you can get the police to come and to take a police report of the accident, that piece of evidence is extremely important. And that is because an officer is considered unbiased, and they're going to take a description of the event. They're going to get witness statements. They're basically going to do a lot of the work for you to make sure that the truth comes out in regards to the accident. Now, once again, police do not always get it 100% correct, but most of the time, I'm going to say about 95% of the time, they do get it right, and they are able to gather evidence and collect information and make the process a lot easier when it comes to proving your case later on down the road. Especially in cases where there is not a witness, it is extremely imperative that you get the police to come and take a report, because the report will be very beneficial to prove who's at fault for that accident. And many times the insurance company will take that report as evidence and will use it to help say who's at fault and who is not at fault. So do your best to always get the police to come. Now, furthermore, if you are severely injured or you hit your head in an accident, you should take an ambulance to the hospital and get checked up, because your brain is your number one asset. You want to make sure you don't have a brain bleed, which is called a hematoma, and that can show up on a CAT scan to show that you suffered a brain injury. Also, if you have broken bones or any severe injury, always take the ride to the hospital. You will get compensated for this later through the personal injury matter. Now, let's get back to pictures and videos. If you can, always take a picture and a video of the actual scene of the accident, meaning where the car hit the car at the actual point of impact. Now, of course, if you're on the freeway or if you're in a dangerous place, you can't do that. So do your best to take pictures after. What I tell my clients, and it's very important, is if you can, take a video of the scene, meaning let's say that there's two cars in front of us, right? Say it's a rear-ending accident. You're going to videotape and you're say, okay, I was driving down this street going north, and this is a street sign right here that shows I was going going this way and this guy rear-ended me right here, or girl rear-ended me right here, and this is what happened in this accident. Or someone is making a left turn and they needed to yield to you and you're driving straight. You want to show that the light is not a left green arrow. You want to show it is a yielding light, and you want to get the sequence of the lights to show that they should have yielded to you as you were going straight and not cut you off to try to cut the light. So the more videos, the more pictures, the better. Let your attorney figure out what they're going to use. Take pictures of everything. The sunlight can have an effect on who's at fault. If there's construction, it can have an effect on the case. If there are potholes in the ground, it can have an effect on the case. Take pictures and videos of everything, skid marks, whatever you can find, because all of that can be used as evidence later to prove your case. And everything from street signs to lights to witnesses. If a witness is there and they're willing to give you a video testimony of what happened, get that video testimony. If you're bleeding all over the place, I know it's the last thing you're thinking about because you're probably worried about getting medical treatment, but if you can, take a video and take a picture, because that video and picture is worth $1 million. It can literally be worth $1 million, showing the severity of the accident and what's going on. Now, on a case-by-case basis, do what is best for your situation, but the video and the pictures of an accident are so imperative, and they can be worth so much to you getting the full recovery that you deserve for somebody else crashing into you. So this is extremely important part of the process. Be like a detective, get as much information and as much details as possible. If there's a witness, don't just get their phone number. There are so many cases that I've worked on where we've tried to reach out to witnesses and their phone number is not an active number, or they wrote the phone number wrong. Try to get a picture of their driver's license. Get a video of them testifying as to what they saw, or get their name, email, and address. That way we can find them and we can figure out who they are, and we can make sure that they show up to testify if we need it later on down the road. So witness information is extremely imperative. Now, the last thing is, if you need to take an ambulance or you need to go to the hospital, make sure that you are not acting tough. This is not a time to be tough. If you have insurance and you have something specific called underinsured motorist coverage. Now, let me explain what that is. If you get hit by somebody and they don't have insurance, and you'd be surprised, about 25% of drivers, in my experience, are driving around without any insurance whatsoever, then you need to have what's called underinsured motorists. And that means if they don't have insurance or if they have a low policy, your policy will cover you. So make sure you have a good UIM policy. Typically for $100 more than what you're spending a year, you can get up to $100,000 in coverage. And for like $200 more for the year, you can get $250,000 in coverage. Insurance companies do not tell you this because they want you to get screwed. They want you to buy a policy, but they don't want to pay you out if you get really injured. So they don't tell you that for a little bit more money, you can have a better policy. They are incentivized to sell you shitty policies that are called full coverage, and they are not actually full coverage. You're actually in a really difficult situation. So once again, if you have an insurance policy and you know you have UIM coverage, don't worry about that hospital trip. Go to the hospital and make sure you're okay. This shows the severity of your injuries, and you also need to just make sure that you are okay, and especially if you have broken bones or you hit your head, then you want to make sure that you get those injuries checked out as quickly as possible. And then once again, make sure that after an accident, you do not call the insurance company first. You always want to call your attorney first. And this is something I've said before. Nationwide is not on your side. You are not in good hands with Allstate. Insurance companies record every conversation. It's the first thing they say, hi, this is Allstate on a recorded line. This is State Farm on a recorded line. And what you need to understand is that they're trying to catch you and get you to say that you're not injured, that you're not hurt. And then when we show that you are hurt in the next couple of weeks, once your adrenaline has worn off, then they're going to try and say, no, you weren't injured. We're not going to pay you out for this claim. So always speak to your attorney first. And if you are going to speak to the insurance company before speaking to an attorney, if they ask you about injuries, just tell them, I don't want to discuss my injuries. And you can say that. You can say, I only want to talk about getting my car fixed, and I want to get that done as quickly as possible. Now, a quick thing I also want to mention is after an accident, if you're worried about getting your car fixed, stop waiting on the other person's insurance company to fix your car. Always just pay your deductible and have your insurance company fix it, because they will get that money back from the other insurance company, and then they will get your deductible reimbursed. Not only that, but your insurance company has a duty to you to make sure your car is repaired fully and properly, meaning that they're going to use new parts. They're going to let you send it wherever you want. The other insurance company is always going to try to use a shiesty or a crappy dealership, or they're going to try to take you to some weird shop that doesn't give you brand new parts, and then you're going to be up shit creek without a paddle. So you need to make sure that when you are getting your car fixed, you do it through your own insurance, and then that way your insurance is going to fight for your liability and get your deductible reimbursed, and they're going to do the best job possible for you. you. So these are the main questions that people ask me of what you should do after a car accident. And of course, lastly, make sure that you hire the right law firm, and that's making sure that you're going to be finding the best advocates for you. My name is Joe Naz. I'm owner of Joe Naz Accident Lawyers. If you have any other questions about what to do after an accident, please do me a favor and comment below. My cell phone number is 949-690-6211 if you have questions specifically for me, or if you want to email, it's joe@joenazlaw.com. I appreciate you listening to this video, and I appreciate your support.